Breeders' Cup 2025, it's Future Stars Friday. We continue with our contender updates, and this time around we're getting an update on the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. This could be one of the smaller fields in the Breeders' Cup over the 2 days, maybe as few as 7 or 8 horses, but the quality level will be high. We've got some of the major Grade 1 stakes winners in this race, and of course they're going to be going a mile and a 16th on the dirt, all part of the Friday card that includes 5 Breeders' Cup Juvenile races. We've already got an update on the Juvenile filly contenders. Let's take a look at the Juvenile contenders for 2025. We've got Intrepido, the American Pharoah winner. He's a 2-time winner. Brant, a winner of the Del Mar Futurity. We've got Ted Noffey, a 3-time winner, including the Grade 1 hopeful, the Keeneland Futurity, and Desert Gate. Runner-up a couple of times to some good horses, but he also did win the Best Pale Stakes earlier this year. Those are kind of the big 4 contenders. We will not get the winner of the Champagne Stakes. He's going to wait for next spring in Napoleon Solo. But let's take a look at this matchup, which potentially has kind of an east-west matchup flair. Even though the Breeders' Cup's going to be at Del Mar, you've got Brant, the winner of the Del Mar Futurity. You've got Ted Noffey, the winner of the Keeneland Futurity. He also won the Hopeful Stakes. That's the east-west connection, but we've also got Intrepido in there. Let's start off with Brant, the winner of a maiden special weight race. Bet down in all 3 of his starts, a big favorite in his debut. He's by Gun Runner. He was purchased for $3 million. He had a lot of great workouts, debuted with a big victory for Bob Baffert. Then Brant went into the Del Mar Futurity in a second lifetime start. Again, after that big debut win, everybody bet him down. He was 2-5, 3-5 in the betting in a second lifetime start. Wins the Del Mar Futurity. Small field in that race, defeated Desert Gate, who kind of chased him all the way home. But Brant brings a record 2 for 2 into the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. So he's lightly raced, he's fast, but he did regress a little bit in the Del Mar Futurity, and that was only a 7 furlong race. Now he's got to go a mile and a 16th. Meanwhile, the beast from the east, we've got Ted Noffey. He started his career in New York, wins his maiden race. This one, again, kind of a little bit under the radar. He picked up the victory for trainer Todd Pletcher. Then he went into the Grade 1 hopeful, and what was interesting, he did not go favorite in this race. He was almost 4-1. Ted Noffey winning that hopeful stakes out of that outside post, made his move on the turn, drew off impressively, and Ted Noffey kind of silenced the doubters in that second lifetime start. He then went from the New York Saratoga to Keeneland, where he was favored in the Keeneland Futurity. He was 4-5 that day, pulled off the big victory. Now again, that Keeneland has that short stretch, took advantage of his speed, took the lead into the stretch, drew off. He's got that quick turn of foot. He's by Into Mischief. Of course, Into Mischief with a couple of Kentucky Derby winners. And Ted Noffey going to be one of the favorites here along with Brant in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And Ted Noffey 3 for 3 in his career. Now another contender from the West is Intrepido. Let's take a look at his maiden race. He started off his career with a loss, came back in a second lifetime start, picked up the win. Intrepido looking good in that win, and what was nice is he kind of stretched out to do it. Didn't do it as a big favorite. Intrepido winning that maiden race. Then Intrepido went into the American Pharoah Stakes. The Bob Baffert trained Desert Gate was the favorite. Intrepido was sitting third. They rated off the pace that day. They didn't want to get involved in a speed duel. Kind of just idling in third, then switched leads and went to that lead late in the American Pharoah. So Intrepido is proven with a couple of 2-turn wins, couple of wins at longer distances. He may have a little bit of a conditioning edge over a horse like Brant. And Ted Noffey, who's got 3 lifetime starts, including a mile and a 16th start, he may have an experience edge over Brant as well. Now, Desert Gate, one to watch, 4 starts. He did lose in the American Pharoah to Intrepido. He set the pace, kind of had to do a lot of dirty work that day. Meanwhile, the race before that in the Del Mar Futurity, he chased Brant all the way home at 6-1. He did win the Best Pale Stakes. We'll take a look at that and his maiden race. But Desert Gate by Omaha Beach out of a Curlin mare. Now, Desert Gate broke his maiden for Bob Baffert, first time out, got the job done, was highly regarded going into that race, had some good workouts, and picked up that win in his maiden race. Then he went into the Best Pal Stakes in Desert Gate, drew off by over 4 lengths in that race. At that point, he was 2 for 2 in his career, lost his last 2 starts, but he lost to other Breeders' Cup contenders in Brant and Intrepido. And again, he kind of did the dirty work in that American Pharoah Stakes. He had to put away Christofferson early, then was hounded at the rail by Plutarch, and then was overhauled late by Intrepido. Now, Plutarch is another one to consider for this race. He's by Stellar Wind, a Grade 1 winning mare. Of course, 10 wins and 17 starts for Stellar Wind. She was by Curlin, so you get that stamina breeding. She won races like the Beholder Mile, the Apple Blossom, the Zenyatta. She ran in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Plutarch by Into Mischief. He was on the inside late in that American Pharoah race. Just to his outside was Desert Gate, and then Intrepido with that 3-wide move. But Plutarch could be one to watch moving forward. Maybe he improves here by a few lengths in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile as kind of an exacta or trifecta horse, possibly to use with that pedigree. So lots to consider in this race. Plutarch also pointing could be as many as 3 Bob Baffert starters in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Now the Brisnet speed figures for the race, kind of interesting. We've got Ted Noffey got a 102 in the Hopeful Stakes, but that was a 7-furlong race. Intrepido with a 99 on the Brisnet scale in the American Pharoah. Brant got a 98 in the Del Mar Futurity, but that was a little bit slower than his maiden win. Ted Noffey, the Keeneland Futurity, a 97, and then Desert Gate in the Best Pal, a 94, but he did lose to Brant and Intrepido in those last 2 races. Remember, speed is always important. The fastest buyer of the year on the buyer speed figure scale was Brant in his maiden win, and they had him regressing in that second lifetime start. But Brant getting a 98 on the Brisnet scale at 7 furlongs, Ted Noffey a 102 at 7 furlongs, but Ted Noffey stretched out and got a 97 in the 2-turn Keeneland Futurity. Now the juvenile form factors, you do want to be a Grade 1 winner coming into this race if at all possible, or at least have run in a stakes race. 3 races or less is preferred. You don't want to have run too many races and be over the top. Early speed is important. You don't necessarily need to be on the lead, but you want to be in the top 3 at the half mile and in contention down the backstretch going into that second turn. Those are some of the historical factors. Bob Baffert's won the Juvenile multiple times. Could have as many as 3 horses this year. Todd Pletcher's won the Juvenile. He's got Ted Noffey, who's a 2-time Grade 1 winner. We've got the winner of the American Pharoah, the Keeneland Futurity, the Best Pal, the Del Mar Juvenile. A lot of the best horses are here except for Napoleon Solo, who is going to pass on this race. Brant is sired by Gunrunner, the $3 million purchase at the sale. Meanwhile, we've got contender videos up for the Sprint, the Dirt Mile, the Juvenile, Fillies, and the Mile on the Turf. Make sure to watch those videos as well. Previews all the way up to the Breeders' Cup. Like and share with a horse racing friend, getting you ready for the Breeders' Cup. And remember, the Breeders' Cup prospectus, sign up below. Stats and information coming your way Breeders' Cup week. D. Wayne Lucas always said, people have opinions, horses have the facts.